Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from TrustTV here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. My name is Suleiman. Today, our focus is on politics and religion in Nigeria. The race to 2023 elections is well underway, and politicians, pressure groups, and individuals who are seeking elective offices for themselves or for others will use all means necessary, whether this means fair or foul. As former President Obasanjo once said, politics in Nigeria is a do or die affair. Religion and politics in the country are intimate bedfellows, and sometimes it is not clear which is the senior partner. Did politics weaponize religion, or did religion weaponize politics? Is it like the chicken and egg situation? Which one comes first? Is it religion or politics? Nigeria's constitution, though, claims that Nigeria is a secular state. And yet, a 2017 survey by US-based think tank Pew Research Center found that 88% of Nigerians say religion is very important to them in their daily lives. Daily prayer rate in Nigeria, in the Muslim community in Nigeria, is 95%, and weekly church going is at 89%. All of these are record high among all countries of the world, according to this survey. But with statistics like this, is it possible to say that Nigeria is a secular country? But it is even more than that. Sometimes in Nigerian electoral history, block votes are along religious lines. Political campaigns borrow heavily from religious rhetoric, while candidates are quick to banish their religious and spiritual credentials. Meanwhile, pastors and imams dabble into politics in their churches and in their mosques all the time. So today we're asking, is Nigeria a secular state? Is religion taking over politics? Or has it always been like this? Are we even aware of this? My guests on the program today are Mala Hamza Idris, who is the general editor of Daily Trust newspapers. And also with me is Mr. Daniel Manson, who is retired staff of the Nigerian Television Authority. You are most welcome, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Daily Politics. Yeah. But before we go on, we'll take a minute and then we'll be right back.
The board and management of Media Trust Limited invites the general public to its annual Daily Trust Dialogue, themed 2023, The Politics, Economy and Insecurity. Date, 20th January 2022. Location, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR. Guest Speaker, Governor of Kaduna State, Malan Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. Guest Speaker, Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi. Guest Speaker, former Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui Okauru. Moderator, Executive Director, Daria Media Nigeria Limited, Kadariya Ahmed. And all participants must observe COVID-19 protocols and wear their face masks.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. And today we're talking about politics and religion. So I'm starting with you, Mr. Benson. As a veteran broadcaster of many, many years, retired, that means many decades, in fact, how do you describe Nigeria? Is it really a secular state, or what is it?
Well, Nigeria is a secular state. In paper.
Okay.
But in reality, we know that we are not really a secular state, because a secular state is the state that is neutral of religion or anything, or religious, doesn't have religious correlation. But if you look at it, you find out that in Nigeria today, because of our way of life, the two major religions, or a multi-religious setting, which we are. We have the Christians, we have the Islam, and we also have our own traditional religion. And therefore, in paper, yes, but in reality, no.
Okay, why no?
Why? Okay.
Well, I think he has summarized it.
Okay.
Because in all our dealings, you see people bringing in religion. Almost all our dealings, business, politics, recruitment in services, recruitment in civil service, recruitment in the private sector, and then even in allocation of opportunities, you see those responsible for such endeavors bringing religion, because they will say, okay, if maybe in the military, for instance, you want to recruit, it's not about competence. Religion has taken precedence now. In the civil service of the Federation, you see some people bringing figures out, saying in so ministry or so agency, this is it. And then even in political calculations, it's very difficult to see people, with the exception of few states, a governor must have to take maybe a Christian as his deputy and vice versa, depending on the demography and then population of adherents of the two religions. So religion is well part and parcel of us, and you cannot call Nigeria a secular state, even though in the constitution it is.
So if that is the case, why should it be in the constitution? The constitution is ours. So why should it be the constitution? Are we trying to impress somebody by having it in the constitution? Or are there good reasons for having it that way in the constitution?
I think maybe our wise men, when they were drafting our constitution, they did that because of our mindsets as a people.
Okay.
And the mindsets of the people, if you say this religion, because many Nigerians are very religious people. Not that we are godly, but many of us are very, very religious people. And if the wise men have just said so like that, the Christian would say, why would there be Sharia law? You want to convert Christians to be Muslims. And if you just stand on the canon law, the Muslim says, okay, you are also denying me my rights. But you also know that Islam itself, without Sharia, is not complete. So, based on what our beliefs, and you remember, it's not only Christianity and Islam,
there are also
the traditional religions, which practice in different ways. And these traditional religions have been with us even before these two prominent religions came into the country. So I feel they did that just to douse tension.
Okay.
To make Nigerians believe that, okay, let everybody have a sense of belonging.
Thank you. But at the same time, every time you see people saying that, let us not bring politics into religion, even as recently as last month, former President Goodluck Jonathan, was making a speech, and he was warning that, as we go into an election year, this year, 2022, politicians must do everything they can to not bring religion into politics. Is it that religion is always there in politics, or that politicians are bringing it into politics?
It has been there for a very long time, but it has not been misused as what we are witnessing these days. Of course, as my colleague rightly said, Nigerians are religious people. You have the Muslims, you have the Christians, you have the traditionalists, and all that. And they have been with that religion for a very long time, and they believe that it dictates what they do, it dictates their life. But of recent, sadly, if you don't associate what you do with the religion, even though they do it in a misplaced way, you will not go anywhere. So even if former leaders and even incoming leaders and those that are already serving said that we should de-emphasize the issue of religion, they are just saying it for saying sake, just the way we have the constitution, for having sake. Yeah, it's just for having it. But how many sections in the constitution do we really respect? Assuming we respect the constitution very well, I don't think we will be in the mess that we are today. Again, the framers of the constitution, and then even our leaders, they really misled the system. Yes, by asking some questions that are not really necessary, that are not important in whatever you do. If you want to register as a Nigerian now, there is a place, religion.
Which is not necessary for a Nigerian.
It's not necessary for
you don't
a
need
Nigerian.
religion to have citizenship.
Yes.
No.
If it is sense, yes. If you go to hospital, you are sick.
Even banks.
Yes. They ask religion.
Yes.
Do we really need that? Did the Constitution say we should do all that? So you can see how we are twisting issues and then complicating our travels, which is very bad.
Thank you. So, Mr. Manson, taking off from where he said, there's always this accusation that it is the politicians that, or the political class that are bringing religion into politics. But all the time, you see the religious leaders themselves also going into politics. You know, I'm not talking about going to politics in the sense of actually leaving religion, like the former vice president, the current vice president, who is a pastor, or Malam Ali Isa Pantami, who was preaching and now a minister in government. I'm not even talking about those ones. I'm talking about the ones, because they left religion behind and joined to politics. So there is still some separation, right? I'm talking about religious leaders who in their churches or in their mosques will be speaking about political issues, and doubling into them, castigating this political candidate or that party, and so on and so forth. What role do they play in the emergence of religious politics that we have in the country?
Well, the role most of our religious leaders played, to me, is been as a result of manipulation of politicians.
Okay.
Because even though a human being is a political animal, but you find out that what they do, in some cases, they go out of their own calling.
Okay.
Their calling is to make people godly, to know what is right and wrong, to know their roles, to make, their fellow worshippers, or, to be a kind of people that will now say, okay, they are supposed to lead them. This is your role. This is what the Creator has, commanded you to do. But you find most of the time they are being manipulated by these politicians who use religion, because they know that a Nigerian is a very religious person, who use a religion as a weapon to achieve their goal.
Their goals.
Sometimes some of these goals are selfish kind of, goals. So that is one of the reasons. But I feel that most of them have failed.
Okay.
Because
most of these religious leaders or the
most
politicians?
of the religious leaders,
okay,
by being partisan,
okay,
they are supposed to be neutral, because even the prophets of the major religions, they were most of the time neutral.
Okay.
If a ruler does something wrong, they'll say, this is what God, the message that God or Allah sent to me, said, you should not do this. But it's not the same thing now. Yeah.
Thank you. So is neutrality possible? Because, for example, in many parts of the world, religious leaders have play significant roles in politics, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, by speaking truth to power,
Yes.
by telling government whether you are doing well or you are not doing well, and by so doing, and sometimes even preaching peace, and by so doing, they are doing politics, you know.
Yes.
So is it possible to be neutral? For example, when the government is doing the wrong things, is it possible for religious leaders to be neutral?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I think the issue of neutrality does not even arise.
Okay.
Yes, because when you say you are neutral, the literal meaning is that no matter how it goes, you just look at it. But religious leaders, they're supposed to be the light of the society. They're supposed to talk to the leaders, to do the right thing, and they reprimand them when they go wrong. They should also talk to the followers to elect pious people, to elect people of integrity, to elect people based on their merit.
But that's where we have a history with that idea in Nigeria, isn't it? Because if you say to elect pious people, if you are a Muslim speaking, which is where I was headed, if you're a Muslim speaking, then people will interpret that to mean you are saying that the voters should elect
for a Muslim.
If you're a Christian speaking, they will say that you are saying that the voters should elect Christians. No, so where does that leave us?
No, I'm not talking about that.
No. Okay, I'll come right back to you.
Yes, what I'm saying is religious leaders have the responsibility to ask their followers to elect credible people. Let me change the word. Credible people. You remember what Sir Ahmad Bello said? That yes, a society can thrive with a just leader, but it will collapse if you have a leader that is not just. So, meaning, he was not talking about being a Muslim or being a Christian. You may be a Christian, but if you are not just, the empire will collapse, and vice versa. But sadly, our religious leaders, they have changed all this. There are many people who are really qualified to vie for office, but simply because they didn't get the blessing in court of religious leaders, they were unable to go anywhere.
Interesting. Thank you. So that's a good dimension, Malamza. So, Mr. Manson, this is another issue. Part of the problem people are saying is that it is not that religious leaders speaking for bad government also is the issue. It is the selective manner in which they do it. That if you have a Muslim leader or a government led by a Muslim, then people then the Muslim religious leaders will now be quiet. And if it's a Christian, they will now be quiet. That is, the religious leaders themselves are biased towards their own religion rather than biased towards the truth or the common man. So is that the problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is part of the problem. And not only religious leaders, even our traditional rulers too.
Okay. And they too are associated with religion, with religious leaders in a way. Yes.
So you see the thing, any religious leader whom will not tell the truth, he's not worth of his calling.
Interesting.
And the truth is only one. Whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are practicing traditional religion, a lie is a lie. A deceit is a deceit.
True.
In fact, in our society today, you will find out that if our religious leaders play their role very well by educating their followers, telling the truth, and then if the leader, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, but I believe that a Christian is somebody who follows the example of Christ.
Interesting.
And a Muslim is somebody who follows what the Quran says.
Okay.
But you find out that most of our politicians, they use that just as just like a garment. They use religion as a garment.
So if I were a politician now, and I said I'm not swearing by the Quran or by the Bible, or I mean, I say I'm Muslim, and I am being sworn into office, and I decide not to swear by the Quran, would not the people think that I'm going to, would that not be given a different interpretation?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Action speaks louder than words.
Interesting.
All the people that hold their Quran or the Bible and swore today are the problem we have.
Interesting.
With due respect.
Okay.
Because most of our leaders who swore by the Bible or the Quran, do they obey what it says? Do they adhere to this constitution that they swore? That my interest will be last.
Yes.
Does it happen? No.
Okay.
And then, if they practice even what the religion says, for example, if you are, you are applying Sharia law, like in some of our
Communities.
our communities, some of the states today,
Yes.
do they practice hudud? They don't. And you know what hudud says? Before a leader will eat well, he will ensure that all the followers are okay.
Interesting.
Do they do it? No. You will see a governor or a local government chairman, he will be elected today, he has only one car. By the time he's leaving office, you will see that some people will own estates. Yes. Some will have a house in Nigeria, in London, in America, in other places. And that is not what they held to swear. Maybe that is the problem we are having in the country. The cause that they call upon themselves, because if you hold those holy books and you swear, there's also an implication.
Yes, one way or another. Thank you.
So, to me, most of them are not doing what they ought to do. That is not their calling. Their calling is to speak the truth.
Thank you. But to bring Malamza into the discussion, what about the voters themselves? Because the voters are the ones with the agency to vote one way or another.
Yes.
They can vote either for or against the candidate. Do they tend to vote according to religious sentiments or religious beliefs in the country?
Okay, I want to bring two scenarios.
Please.
But the first one is to tell you that all over the world, if you are looking for a country where this Marxist claim, that religion is the opium of the masses.
Yes.
If you are looking for any country that it really manifests, it's perfect. Yes, it's the opium of the masses. Yes, the people strongly believe that no matter how bad, no matter how dirty you are, once you proclaim that, okay, I'm a Muslim or I'm a Christian, then that is all. People will not look at you can be forgiven. People will not look at your antecedents and all that. This is one. Now, secondly, look at what happened during the Abiola and Kingibe election. How many years now? Is it up to 30 years? 1993?
It's 29 years.
You see, okay, 29 years. Now, that time, the whole country coalesced into a force. There was no issue of Kingibe, was a Muslim, Abiola was a Muslim. No, they look at their credentials.
Okay.
And, Abiola was a bridge builder.
Yeah.
Number one, a Yoruba, then a Muslim, but above all, he was a true Nigerian, a philanthropist. And even though we didn't see his real self as a leader, but up till now, if you are talking about election, you make reference to June 12. That it was the freest. Why? Because it was devoid of these needless sensibilities, like religion. And that was why, but since then, what happened? Even during the military era, you see the military head of state, now apart from Buhari, of course, he had Tunde Ediabom also. Yeah.
Yes.
People were not talking. But what happened along the line? It is the infiltration of fake religious leaders. Because true religious leaders will always preach to people to look for credible personalities. But because we have weaponized religion, and then we have made it a tool for economic gain.
Distribution, yes.
Exactly. So somebody who does not know anything, in fact, somebody who is a tout, one morning he will tell you that he is now a cleric. And he will open a church, or he will have a mosque, somewhere, and he will start preaching, and then people will listen
and
to
he will get
him.
followers.
Yes. I have a friend
Yes.
who philosophically told me that, look, Hamza, if you get a horn, put it on your head, and then raise one of your legs like this, and said you have received, revelation that you should pray like this. If you turn back in a moment, you will see hundreds of people behind you.
In Nigeria, yes.
Yes, because we have allowed peck people to dictate what we do, how we behave in the society. So it's very sad that the followership has also become so gullible to the extent that whatever comes their way, they take it and then they swallow it hook, like, and sinker.
Thank you. That raises the question of whether the situation in June 12, 1993 is possible now, not only at the presidential level, but also in some states. For example, in Taraba, can you have Christian president, governor in Taraba, or Muslim governor and deputy governor in Taraba? Can you have Muslim in Kaduna, or Muslim Christian, Christian, governor and deputy governor in states like Kaduna, and so on. But before we go into all that, and that question is for you, maybe we'll take a minute, and then when we return, we'll continue there. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be taking just a short break. When we return, we will continue with the discussion. Stay with us.
The Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, RIFAN, in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, will unveil world's largest rice pyramid in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The event is scheduled to take place on the 18th of January 2022. Venue, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Trade Fair Complex, Airport Road, Abuja. The pyramids will be unveiled by the special guest of honor and President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. Other special guests that will support are the presidents of Benin Republic, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, as well as the governors of Cross River, Ebonyi, Kebbi, Jigawa, Ekiti, and Sokoto states. Chairman of the occasion, CBN Governor Dr. Godwin Emefiele, Chief Host, FCT Minister. RIFAN will also use the occasion to flag off its 2021-2022 dry season farming activities and celebrate the annual National Rice Festival. RIFAN has been the major driver of rice value chain under the Anchor Borrowers Program for the past 6 years. Come and join us in celebrating Rice Revolution in Nigeria. Let's celebrate our President, Muhammadu Buhari's initiative on food security and self-sufficiency in rice. Let's celebrate the Central Bank Governor, Dr. Godwin Emefiele, RIFAN, the driver of Rice Revolution in Nigeria, Announcer, Publicity Committee.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. You can also follow the discussion via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But above all, tune to channel 164 on your start times. So we go on where we stopped. That is it possible, Mr. Manson, to have a repeat of 1993, June 12, 1993, in 2023, 30 years after? Is it possible to have a Muslim candidate or a Christian candidate wherever they may come from in the country? And if not, why not?
Well, I took part in June 12 elections. I was a political correspondent.
Interesting.
And I covered some of the campaign and some of the activities. At that time, when the SDP, NRC were all jostling to get to Aso Rock, none of them thought about religion. All they thought was about Nigeria. And even the National Electoral Commission then, there were rules that said, okay, religion must not be part of whatever campaign. Or, so it wasn't as we see today. But one of the things that make June 12 to be unique was that either let Tofa and let Abiola, who were the candidates.
Both of them are dead now.
Yeah, they are all dead.
Yeah.
There were men whom spoke about Nigeria. And then they worked. And what made SDP was much better, they worked as a team. They weren't working whether you are from the north or from the east or from the west. All what they wanted was to make Nigeria to be a great place.
Interesting.
And because they have that in their mind, they had their programs on the ground.
But is that possible now?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay.
It's possible if we have leaders or if we have politicians who are willing to be leaders, not those who want to grab what the country already has into their pockets, using religion in order as a means of getting to what they want to get. It is very possible.
Okay.
But one of the reasons too, I wanted to add to what he was talking about.
Yes.
Why is it that the masses are always the one being used? They use religion to confuse them, you know, or tribal thing. First of all, it is from our historical perspective. our colonial leaders, all they wanted was to divide us and rule.
Interesting.
And that is why in the forms we have today, they will ask you, what is your tribe? What is your religion? What is your village? But in their countries, they don't practice that.
Absolutely.
And our leaders, they will have changed like other countries. I know Ghana, for example, they don't do that as we do now. If our leaders could say, okay, let's see ourselves as Nigerians. Because with the level of development and the way things are changing, the mindset of our younger ones doesn't look that way. Because you can have a child, you may be a Hausa man, but you'll be surprised tomorrow that there are many Hausa people today, their children cannot even speak Hausa. They don't even know their customs because of what? The changes, you know.
Thank you.
So
go on.
what I'm trying to say is that, so we can have the same thing, if only one thing.
Okay.
If the masses realize whom they are. But they were manipulated for two things. One, because the state has failed them.
Interesting.
And they felt that, well, maybe if this man is from my religion or my tribe, because the Holy Book says this and
Maybe
that,
things can get better.
things will get better. and then those people, the elites, will now use that weapon and confuse them. Said, okay, I am for you, I am a Muslim, you are a Christian, I am for you. And everybody will come, you know, supporting them. But by the time they get there, they don't think of that.
Absolutely.
I will look at you and me, how do we connive to take what we can? They will forget about the roads that they promised.
Interesting.
They'll forget about the economic that they promised to do, or whatever promises they made.
Thank you. So, some people are saying, some people are saying that it goes beyond even just elective positions in politics.
Yes.
That in other areas of politics as well. You know, for example, in labor unions, in the universities, in the, you know, organizations. For example, if you have student union governments, you know, that if you have a Muslim candidate, then they would, president, then they will expect the vice president to be, you know, either a Christian one or something like that, depending on the configuration of the university. But in most cases like that, that even at the lower levels, secondary schools, primary schools, prefects, head boy, head girl, if you have a Muslim head boy, then you have to have a Christian head girl, and so on. Is that sustaining that mentality, or what is it doing? Sure. Is it helping the situation?
It is messing up everything. And I think we got to where we are from 1999.
Interesting.
Yes, because during the transition, you know, PDP, for instance, they brought this issue of geopolitical zones that, okay, you know, rotational presidency or rotational positions, which started from top to bottom. You know, it messed up the polity. And to prove this is where we are today. You can see the two major political parties are in a conundrum. They are finding it difficult to even bring out the party leadership, to bring out their candidates, because we have messed up the political arena since 1999.
Interesting.
Yes, it's very sad, but I think with two things, we will demystify the problem. Number one, when you have capable leaders. Look at what happened in Kaduna.
Okay.
Nobody thought that Europe will make it in 2019. Yes, but he went to southern Kaduna, but picked a Muslim. If this woman, I'm not campaigning for anybody, but I'm trying to put or give concrete examples.
Okay.
Nobody thought that he would make it, because before, the insinuation was that in Kaduna, if you don't have Muslim ticket, Muslim Christian ticket,
you cannot win election.
You cannot win election. Now you have one. Whether he's performing or he's not performing, we leave that for...
that's a different issue.
Exactly. But he was able to demystify that. Number two.
But to before we go to that number two,
yes,
is it possible in the same Kaduna state to have a Christian
I can assure you, it's possible.
Okay.
And that is why I asked the question, or I leave that poser, whether El-Rufai is performing or not. If he is performing, I can assure you that during elections, if he were to raise the hand of a Christian and another Christian, the people will vote for him.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, the second issue is that people hide, our leaders hide under the guise of religion to cover their shortcomings.
Interesting.
One of our former editors gave us a very simple example. He said a certain governor, to be, you understand, without any plan, he used all the instruments of religion, tribe, and all that to win election. But when he won, he doesn't even have a template. He doesn't have a blueprint on what to do. Some people close to him discovered that he has won, but it's like he doesn't even have focus on what to do. So they now ask him to please come and help. They held a meeting with the governor-elect.
So he won election,
yes,
without knowing what he was going to do.
And he used instrument of coercion and all that. That is religion, tribe, and all that to win the election. But immediately he won. After drinking water, he now said, "Okay, I'm governor." He doesn't even know where to start. So
interesting.
This our editor.
Interesting.
This our editor was invited. He sat with him overnight for more than 3 hours.
Interesting.
They discussed, and then he advised him that, okay, you can have a blueprint to do A, B, C, D. When they finished, he now said, okay, I would love to have your manifesto so that I can go and now work on it to come out with the practicality of the manifesto. He said, which manifesto? You just go and give me what you have.
So he get the manifesto after winning an election.
Exactly.
Only in Nigeria.
So you can see the trouble. People who are weak, people who don't have anything to offer, they use some of these instruments to get the power, and at the end of the day, they mess up the system. They still use the religion to divide the people. They will say, okay, Muslim are after me, or Christians are after me. And at the end of the day, you see the people who voted them, who stood on the same line to vote for this candidate, you see them fighting while he is somewhere or even outside his state.
Thank you. This leads us to the more unpalatable parts of this situation that we're describing. Sometimes when religion gets too deep into politics in Nigeria, it has tended to lead to violence, as we saw in the 2011 elections, particularly in Kaduna State and some other parts of the north, but also in other parts of the country as well. You've had, yes, even in the east and so on, and the west. Historically, you've had that, although more so in the northern states. So, how do we explain that when things, become violent, when elections, politics, when elections are followed by violence, and people can say that religion played a hand in it?
Yeah, sometimes that's why I say that religion plays a hand in it, because the people or the actors, the political actors, uses that to cover up. They uses religion to cover up. So that is why, and because the followers, most of them, they don't understand what we call governance.
Okay.
Is
it the actors or the voters? Or
the voters
the
in particular.
Okay.
The voters in particular. And because they don't understand, and then some of our religious leaders too, they forget their role, because they are supposed to be like pesetas. They are supposed to tell the people this is right, this is wrong, based on the commandments in the holy books. But rather, they go to the other side, and for selfish reasons, let me put it like that.
Okay.
And therefore, the vulnerable voters or populists, who most of them politically, they don't understand what governance is all about, and they feel that, okay, if my man or the guy from my religion is there, our religion is winning. But they forget that religion is not, that godliness is different from religion.
Interesting.
Because if you are godly, you will love. If you are godly, you'll be patriotic. If you are godly, you will know that whatever you do, in the hereafter, you have a question to answer. But because
regardless of which religion you belong to?
Whatever religion you belong to, whether you are a Christian or you are a Muslim, we are always remembered that we came empty, and so shall we go. And when we go, we'll be judged by what? By our works. So a man is given what? A man has a time to be born and a time to die, and he has a chance to live, to create impact in his society. And that chance, one will be asked, of what you do. But because they don't do that, they become religious. Religion says, okay, I go to mosque, pray 5 times, I go to church.
So I think this leads us directly to where does the solution lie? What is the way forward, Malamza? And this is probably our last question.
Yes, very simple, but we have to look at statistics.
Okay.
During election year, you see rise in violence, you see rise in criminal activities, you see rise in ritual activities.
Yes.
This January alone, have you taken note of rise of all this?
Yes.
Yes. We have had cause to sit with security operatives, INEC officials, and they all told us that these are some of the things you expect during election year, simply because of the naivety of the political actors, and then the vulnerability and gullibility of the electorate.
Interesting.
The way forward, I think, is massive sensitization.
Okay.
Yes, and people should learn from experience.
Who will be doing this sensitization? Is it the politicians themselves, or is it
nobody will come from the moon to do it for us. What we are doing right now is sensitization. Religious leaders, of course, they should fear God, and then set aside the issue of this man is from my religion, so whether he is good or bad should lead, because we are all, feeling the pain of what we did in 2019 or what we did in 2017 or what we did in 2003 or 1999 or whatever. Exactly. So it's high time for religious leaders, for teachers in universities, because the people who are supposed to vote, the majority are the youths, exactly, and they are in school. So teachers in the universities, in secondary school and all that, they should sensitize the electorate that, look, go for people of credible character. Go for people who you believe will deliver. Go for people who you believe will put food on your table. Go for people who you believe will build schools, will build hospitals, will build roads, who will guarantee your security. I think if we go along this line, we will get it right.
Yeah. So, okay, you wanted to...
Yes, and apart from
10 seconds?
Yes, we have to go and teach our people history, the young ones. Let them know what happened. We are talking of MKO Abiola. Some people, 20 years, they don't know whom he is.
Exactly.
If you ask somebody about Nnamdi Azikiwe, whom he was, they only say as a president, but they don't know how the struggle of independence started. So we have to go back to history to know what happened during Maitatsine.
Interesting.
What was the cause of Maitatsine? If we have really taught our young ones of
all
the
this
effects,
historical...
maybe we may not have Boko Haram today.
Thank you. So I think that brings us to the close of the program. Thank you very much, Mr. Benson, for coming on the show. Thank you, Malam Hamza, for coming on the show. Thank you also, viewer, for staying with us through to the end of today's program. We hope that you will join us again tomorrow when we bring you another edition of Daily Politics. Of course, tomorrow means Monday. Bye-bye.